Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV. The world premiere of Starwalker the Musical.
Sun Gallery Senos de Hombre.
Vancouver Warriors Lacrosse Pride Night. And much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And my name is T. We'd like to thank the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations for the honor and privilege to film this episode of Outlook TV on their traditional unceded lands.
Outlook TV is the queer news magazine show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast. We're going to kick it off in Vancouver, checking out Starwalker.
It's a story of an individual who went from the streets to a drag house called House of Borealis.
Tonight at the York Theatre, let's take a walk amongst the stars as we check out Corey Payette's new musical, Starwalker.
The whole musical is really it's a love story about East Van, about this community, and it's focused around an Indigenous two-spirit person named Starwalker. So when Star is introduced to drag at the House of Borealis, their whole world changes. It introduces them to a world they never knew existed, and to a love that they never knew was possible, and ultimately to a family that they always needed, and that's what they're able to find in this chosen family at the House of Borealis. I wanted to find a way to bring forward queer Indigenous stories that were about us thriving and healing ourselves and really unpacking all the things that, we've been told that we should be ashamed of or that we shouldn't, put out there for all to see, and actually use that as our strength.
I play Mother Borealis, and she is the head of the drag community, and especially for this house, which is the Borealis House. I connect with her because I kind of have a lot of motherly figures, I would say, and caring for other people, and I get that from my own mom. She's a nurse, and so it really helps me to connect with people. And for this show, with the different drag queens that are coming into the house, it really helps with that. The biggest thing I've taken from this experience is the community, and especially how a drag community all comes together and we support one another, and how it can be related to different communities.
I feel really fortunate that as a queer Indigenous person myself, I get to play a queer Indigenous person, and there's a lot of parallels that I have in my life with Eddie, so it's just been a joy and a gift to get to relate so closely to a character. Eddie, I think, really, really wants to do drag, and I've always wanted to do drag as well. And just that excitement of the first time seeing Mother in drag is just absolutely breathtaking. And I feel that as Dylan, the actor, when Stu comes out looking so gorgeous, it's just hard not to fall in love with this wonderful house and these wonderful queens. And so I really relate to Eddie that way.
We are releasing the music from the show, so that's actually we have 4 singles available right now that's streaming all over, so everyone can hear those, and then we will also be releasing the album afterwards. But then we're also filming a film of it, so it's going to be able to be reaching far and wide, and so people can expect to see that in the future.
What a star-studded cast and production. From the York Theatre in East Vancouver, I'm Elliot Walker for Outlook TV.
Have you ever had your tarot read?
No, but your aura is feeling really good right now.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. We should check out some other people who have, intuitive healing, especially on Commercial Drive.
Ooh.
At a very young age, Jeff Laurin was starting to discover things about himself. He was not only blooming into his sexuality and starting to understand that, he was also realizing that he had a connection to the spirit world.
I offer a couple different services. I am a Yasui Reiki master, and I am an intuitive card reader. Reiki is an alternative therapy for healing the body, the mind. So it's basically what I would describe as like an energetic acupuncture, and it's basically a hand or touch, energy flow. Yeah, I think because I am pansexual, it does open me up to a lot of different clienteles. I think I offer a safe space for a lot of people, so I'm able to be able to tap into different types of energy without any judgment as well, right? The danger about giving specific guidance with people is this is just something that can help you in your path, right? So my energy gets put into the cards, into the crystals that I use, and then I pull the cards, and then I use the cards to kind of guide me into what the message is that you guys, whoever's I'm reading for, might need at that time. And a lot of times it's information that you already know, but you need a little bit of a push to kind of guide you if you were uncertain in certain situations. Should feel guilty about being gay. It's that people have made you feel that way. So that trigger that happens, we can help with that trigger to remove that feeling that you may be having or that energy that you're storing in there from past people or behaviors and things that has happened in your life. I have a very open energy where I'm accepting of everybody, being in the community myself. And I feel like it's, like I said earlier, it's like a safe place for people because some people feel judged and they're not comfortable going to somebody who doesn't understand where they're coming from. And I do understand. Clients that have been appreciative that are gay, bi, trans. One of them in particular was a trans guy. He just needed the reassurance, he just needed to hear something from somebody else, and the cards laid out everything that he needed to hear. And it was just that comfort that you get from your client, just when they come to the realization that the cards gave them a little bit of guidance in what they were going through at that time, right? And I did receive messages after thanking me and getting more validations with some of the stuff that I brought up intuitively or with the cards.
So if you have found that you have become detached or are refusing to see, then you might need someone like Jeff Laurin, who can give you the confidence, which is the key to your success. I'm David C. Jones for Outlook TV.
It's time for us to take a little break now.
Brr, it's cold outside.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
We are headed to the East Coast, to Montreal, to check a magazine that's been around for 30 years.
Is the East Coast really Montreal?
It's east of here.
Hello everyone, salut tout le monde. 20 years ago, here in Montreal, I was a freelance photographer for Fugues magazine. It has evolved ever since. To tell us more about it, let's go and meet Yves Lafontaine.
At its beginning in 1984 and for more than a decade, Fugues was geared mostly towards gay and bi men aged from 18 to 40 years old, as a gay guide for the nightlife. And for the second half of the 90s, there was a lot of demands from the community about recognition for simply being like everybody else, demands to be able to marry, to adopt. Transgender issues become more important in the 2000s, and now we're talking about non-binaries issues. The lifespan of Fugues magazine coincide with some of the most important events in local gay history, from police raids on gay bars and so on to the HIV/AIDS epidemic, from gay rights to transgender rights. Drag visibility was there at the beginning of the magazine, and it continued all over the years. I would say Mado was probably the first to have a visibility outside of the LGBT community. In the magazine and or on the website, we have at least each month one article in English about different subjects. It's always been part of our mandate to be present for our organization and events in the LGBT community in Montreal. But not only in Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Quebec City. For us, it's been part of our DNA since the beginning. We did that also with large events like the World Out Games or every Pride event in Montreal. We sometimes are part of the parade itself, but every year it's very important for us to be at the community fair in the village because it's our direct contact with the readers. Now, to be a media, you cannot be only a publication. You are a publication. You also are visible in print, in your own platform, but we are also available on several other platforms, third-party platform that help us to reach a very, very large portion of the LGBT community.
Thank you very much, Yves, for sharing some information about Fugues magazine. Don't forget to check out their website for more on the subject. André Tardif in Montreal for Outlook TV.
Ooh, we're in Vancouver and we're going to head to Rogers Arena where Lacrosse had a Pride night.
I love sticks and balls.
I've heard that about you.
We're at Rogers Arena in downtown Vancouver where the Vancouver Warriors professional lacrosse team are about to host their very first Pride night. Let's go see what it's all about.
We play in the National Lacrosse League, which is the box lacrosse here in Canada and throughout North America. So there's 15 teams all throughout North America. We've got 5 here in Canada, and we play box lacrosse. So that's in, for the most part, converted hockey rinks with turf down on them. And it's honestly a fantastic sport. We're really proud of the community, reaching out to the community and really trying to expose lacrosse to everybody. It's a great, fantastic sport. It's, Canada's official summer national sport, but it's always been, quite insular. So we want to make sure that we're getting an opportunity to spread out to all different communities. And obviously Vancouver here has such a fantastic LGBTQ plus community here. So we want to really make sure that, hey, we want to be as inviting so the entire community can come here, and what better way to celebrate Pride, especially here in Vancouver, where it's such a fantastic community that, may or may not have ever been to a lacrosse game, so to come out.
Yeah, I'm singing the Canadian National Anthem for the Warriors tonight.
Fantastic, and it's for their Pride night, right?
Yes, for their Pride night.
Fantastic, and you sang at Vancouver Pride before, is that correct?
Yes, I've done a few shows with Vancouver Pride, both in 2022 and 2021, and looking forward to more.
No, I've been to several Warriors games before.
The first Pride night, though.
Yes, it's the first Pride night here at Warriors game.
What do you think of that?
I think it's awesome. I think the crowd is pretty sweet. Yeah, it's been a nice turnout.
Is this your first time at the Warriors game?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Did you come here for Pride night? Yeah. Fantastic. And how did you hear about it?
We've got the Vancouver Pride Society, which is very strong here and does a lot of great stuff. And then we've also got community here as well, which is great. Both of those groups have a table up on the concourse. So part of it is, hey, we want to make sure that people have those, but then and recognize that they're a part of the night, but also give people the opportunity so that they can go to the concourse and talk about what those groups are doing and what information and resources and all the great stuff that they're doing within the community at large, and make sure that give them an opportunity and a platform to go and spread their message as well. sports, especially our players, like they live and work in the community here. Many of them have full-time jobs. So we have firefighters and engineers and teachers and everything else. So one of the big things that we want to do is, make sure that they're being good role models there, but then also because of the exposure that they get as professional athletes, that they can, those kids who, may be struggling with their identity can see and say, oh, hey, you know what? Keegan Ball, one of my favorite players, he's supporting. And you know what? That gives me the opportunity to go and be brave about what I want to do.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at Rogers Arena in downtown Vancouver.
It's time for us to take another little break.
It's cold, but I'm picturing a hot fireplace.
Hot fireplace.
Yeah, that's his name.
Hot cocoa.
That's his name.
Oh, I see.
Hot.
Hi, my name is Olga Rodriguez. I'm the manager of Salon Silicon, a queer gallery in Mexico City, and you're watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Art is an international art form. And you know what else is? Dildo making.
Oh, yeah, you could go to the Some Gallery and learn how.
I am at the Some Gallery in Vancouver, which opened its first exhibition of 2023 with Senos de Hombre, curated by Salon Silicon of Mexico City. Let's check out the exhibition and find out what's involved.
So a year ago, I made a trip to Mexico City, and through friends, I was connected to the curators of Salon Silicon.
Salon Silicon is a queer project, contemporary art gallery that has a space in Mexico City. And we've been doing shows with mostly women and members of the LGBTQ community. We usually do things on gender, on sexuality, and trying to be bold and political at the same time, and hopefully also funny.
The exhibition that we have on at Some Gallery right now is called Senos de Hombre, and that's Spanish for man tits. This is a playful and deliberate misreading of a lyric from a Spanish language song called Que Bello, and that line is actually how beautiful your man's jealousy is. And the word for jealousy is celos, and so it gets changed to senos, so the line becomes how beautiful your man's tits are.
I am an artist. I am based in Mexico City. I'm also Mexican. And my work talks about power struggles, the power of the masses, but everything is told by my perspective as a middle-class, gay, white, Mexican person. I often see penises glamorized in art shows, so I try to make them a little bit more monstrous, because in that way, instead of it being like this object of desire, it can work as a tool that can be weaponized, but also it is problematic because pornography and the genitals, either female or male, can be also satanized by the church, which is a very strong power here in Mexico.
Because when we were talking to the Salon Silicon curators, one of the things that came up was what we could do as far as public engagement goes. And Olga paused for a moment and she said, "We do a dildo making workshop. Would that be interesting for you?"
During this workshop, we gave the people who came to the workshop, we gave them clay to sculpt whatever they want and to put inside themselves and to like master whatever they want to have an orgasm to, and also to in a way sculpt their pleasure, decide their textures, like have a lot of control of what you put inside your body, and it can be a very fulfilling exercise. This is called a phallomorph, which is an imaginary creature that I made using the genitals of two porn stars.
Salon Silicon, it runs until March 25th. We're open Tuesdays to Saturdays from noon to 6.
James Goodman at the Some Gallery in Vancouver for Outlook TV.
And now we're headed to Toronto for a profile on Paul Bellini.
Paul Bellini, I love that drink.
I do love a Bellini too, but this guy you might also know as the towel man from The Kids in the Hall.
Hello everyone, salut tout le monde. Who can forget the towel guy in the Kids in the Hall TV show? Well, let's go meet Paul Bellini and find out some more about him and his latest projects.
13 years ago, I published a book called The Fab Columns, and what it was a collection of all the columns I wrote for Fab magazine for the previous 12 years. It was a lot of fun doing the book, just as it was a lot of fun doing the column. Recently, I did a storytelling show hosted by my co-instructor at Hombre College, Crystal Bartelzi.
Henry also advised me that aside from being clingy, Joe had a really big dick, but he was a bottom, so it's kind of useless. It's sort of like the equivalent of having a gorgeous head of blonde hair and wearing a big stupid hat over it, you know, like just wasted.
So as of September, I started teaching a new course at Humber, and this was second-year sketch comedy writing. And my focus was to not just get them to write material, but also to produce it and perform it in front of an audience. So we booked a show at the Rivoli, wide variety of interesting sketches, interesting characters. There's a sexy Santa thing. Even though we're past Christmas, I thought it was still an interesting character piece. Teaching puts me in touch with young talent, and there's nothing more valuable than for a person like me to always be in touch with young talent.
But did your best bring lube?
What? Why?
For anal.
There's a fascinating piece set on a roller coaster, which involves having to do mime.
The thing that I have to say about Paul Bellini is he has the biggest heart out of anybody I've ever met. He is a wonderful person who is willing to give us his knowledge and pass that on to us so that another generation of sketch comedians can do things like perform here at the Rivoli or further their careers as sketch comedians.
There's a plaque at the Rivoli that is dedicated to the Kids in the Hall. But it was nice that Scott came and did the show with the students.
Well, when Paul Bellini asked me to come here, I said, well, if you're going to make me stay there for 2 hours, you're going to give me a half an hour to work the things out.
I first met Scott Thompson in 1978 at York University when we were both teenagers. And one of the first things we did was start a punk rock band called Mouth Congress. Like I said, I've been doing the towel guy for 40 years. I keep having to get bigger towels, but yes, we'll still keep going, maybe until my 80s. I'll still be doing towel guy.
Well, that was quite entertaining. And for all his fans, you can still touch the Bellini, André Tardif, in Toronto for Outlook TV.
That's all the time we have for this very cold episode of Outlook TV, but we'll be back as soon as it warms up.
You know what's one good way to warm up? Checking us out on all our social media platforms.
It's true, we are wonderful people to watch, wherever you can find us. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And my name is T.
Stay safe, Canada.